Hello and welcome to Warblog. Today we're looking at the battle for Deir Ezzor City, Syria, 2017. This is a rough guide, as I'm stumped for time. So essentially, I haven't been following it as closely as I'd like, so I don't know what to say other than it's so far what they've sort of pretty much done is connect through to there. So this is all ISIS here with the Brigade 137 sort of place here, which has been sort of under siege, or rather more like that, under siege, and so they are basically connecting it between there. And the airport is still under siege, but it looks as though they've sort of pretty much narrowed this gap down a little, but there still looks to be a sort of an ISIS gap sort of there, so there's some ISIS there. So that's pretty much it, really. So let's just get rid of the squiggles. Sometime this year. My computer's a bit slow again, but so essentially looking to this sort of battle group, as they're calling them, to somehow just punch through there, and it's not going to be difficult because there's a lot of units. Now what we've got there is the SRG, which is the Syrian Republican Guard, I think, and here we've also got the, what are they calling them? The 5th Assault Corps. I sort of added all these in later. So now they don't really make any ground this way, but I think pretty much the sort of the front line sort of, what does it look like? Yeah, pretty much it's just this, but I mean they're going for Deir Ezzor now, and it's just going to be a matter of time. So I'm going to have a think about playing it. And obviously we've got quite a few units. So let's get the map tool back up, maybe. Now obviously we got over here, we got Tiger forces, and then we got the al-Quds, or whatever they are. What are they? The Liwa al-Quds, and then we got the National Defence Forces. I think that's what they're called. They're written up on another place, but it's interesting they're not on that one. Yeah, anyway, so National Defence Forces here. We've got a little sort of battle group there. Let's just undo that. So we've got a battle group there of 2 mechanised units, but this is really the strong one. But we've got some more armour mechanised there, but I think we've sort of got to keep this line. We've got a fairly reasonable size force there. 2 lots of artillery. Where's the rest of the artillery? And 2 lots down there, so it's 4 lots of artillery. So the thing to do with the artillery, I guess, would be to sort of position it somewhere. I think this artillery should move there, and this artillery along there. Now that's going to take a while. So this group will essentially have to punch through to create this gap, meaning that this block, and this block are the targets. So let's reload and start looking at those. So what we've got in there, 2 lots of irregulars, some infantry, some rockets, some infantry, some irregulars, and 4 lots of irregulars. The only thing to bear in mind is that we really don't want to be leaving stacks like this on their own, because they'll just be targets for the irregulars. So we need to back that on up, but I'm pretty sure that we can beat everything up. So this unit here, which is 2 armoured units, can probably take care of this stack here. So we could probably move this stack into there to attack that. We'll move something to support that. So I just do a sort of, it's not a significant line, but just something to stop that from being attacked. With these, I think we'll move them there. I think we'll keep these there. I don't want to attack anything here. Actually, I've only got one objective on them. I forgot to put the objectives in. We're going for Deir Ezzor, but in this case, we're just going for these these positions here. I'm not going to advance here because it's not really, part of the immediate objective. But I'm going to move these around so that we've got this line defended, but anything surplus to that will be moving up this way. So these units here could move that way, and then these could shuffle around to create, because we only need that, we only need these 2 hexes here, this one and this one. So this stack can go there, this stack can go there, and it creates our defensive line along there. This will help out there, not that it's going to be needed with this armour coming in there. And then essentially I think this stack is just going to really have to come down here, and then these ones are going to have to come through there, creating a line of force that way, a line of force that way. But we'll have to get rid of this one before we can move into that hex. So that's pretty much my sort of my battle plan. So there's artillery in there. Let's keep this line. We'll leave this motorised infantry with the artillery. So we've moved our 2 artillery units somewhere more interesting. So that's that. I want to keep this hex occupied, but I've got 1 spare unit, so that will go in that direction. So, what have they got in there? 4. We'll have eight. It's refreshing. But obviously it's taking its time. Okay, so we've basically got 8, 12 against 4, so that's 3 to 1, plus the differential for armour versus soft skin should make that probably 4 to 1, maybe 5 to 1, maybe something silly with plus 20%, 10%. So, really need to push them back. Let's see what happens. We've got some artillery in range, and that artillery is probably not going to be able to hit anything else. Let's just have a quick look where it is. That artillery is probably this stuff here. So, I mean, unless I wanted to dedicate it against going into this stack, which I don't really. It's full of insurgents, not too strong otherwise. Let's see if we can do some damage. Okay. So it's 1.3, 1.6. Okay, well, let's just go for the assault. DR. One movement, 0.8. There's not much they can do now. That wasn't brilliant. Well, I should still be able to push them through. What's the furthest back? I mean, these are worth 6 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the terrain like? No roads to move along. I want to open that gap up. What have we got here? Okay, let's see how far we can. I think it's going to be 1.5 through the desert. Yep, 1, 2, 3. This has got one more move, so we won't actually be able to move after landing there. Oh well. At least we can get that block in there. Nothing much expendable in there, so block that one up as discussed. I'm going to have to commit these 2 armoured units to this assault. Should at least be able to push them back a little further. However, before I do that, why not move some? I think I'm going to save my aeroplanes for that. Ooh, 2 to 1. Still pretty tricky. Pushing them back. Okay. Okay, so they served a purpose. So that's all static now. So I've got these 3 hexes here to move forward. We've only got 45 seconds. So I'm going to leave it at that. I've got air power to come in. Shouldn't be too difficult. Plenty of forces. Obviously there's the long road through to Deir Ezzor, which is heavily fortified. Nice big complex map. Should be an interesting scenario. I'll leave it at that, and I'll speak to you later. Cheers, mate.